Please tell us about the medical emergency you had as a young person and the ways in which it affected your life.
Well, when I was 17 years of age, I did get a chance to go and work at Messiah Home in Harrisburg. I helped there to clean bathrooms and to help in the laundry. But I wasn't there many months until I got a very severe pain in my abdomen. And I couldn't go to work, and so they called the doctor, and I was feeling so sick. So much pain, I crawled from the one end of my bed to the other in pain, and I asked them to anoint me, and they anointed me. And then they called the doctor, and he said, well, I think she has the grip. He called it the grip. And so he treated me for that. Well, that was on a Monday. And throughout the week, I was getting worse and worse and getting weaker and weaker. And the dear person who was there at the home that was sort of checking in on me, she thought I needed ice on my abdomen where I was having so much pain. And I think she about froze me because I could hardly stand covers on me or anything from that. And finally, Sunday, from Monday till Sunday, I was suffering. My father and mother came from York to see me, and when they saw how serious I was, and I could hardly talk anymore, and they went down to York to our family doctor and explained what I was like. And he said, the way you're telling me she's had acute appendicitis, and you better get her to see a doctor. And they mentioned Dr. Smith from the Harrisburg Hospital. And so Monday, Dr. Smith came out to see me, and I think he was appalled to see my condition. And I was, of course, sent right off to the hospital. And he thought I needed a blood transfusion because I looked so bad. But when they tested my blood, it already had pus in it, and I already had peritonitis. And so they operated on, and you had all kinds of tubes in my draining out the poison. And I spent 80-some days in the hospital as a result of that. Now, one of our Brethren in Christ nurses was in the operating room when he operated. And he said, what kind of doctor do you have out there at the home? And she told him who it was, and he said, well, all he's good for really is to deliver babies. And so I'm told that after my experience, the home was told they need to get a registered nurse at the home to take care of people but it's so much different now. Don't compare it then with now, because I know it's much, much better now. But as a result of that, I had at least 2 years of recuperation before I could think of going back to work again to get money to go to school. And yet I still felt impressed I must go to the mission field. And so while I was sick for 3 months, I wasn't even allowed to stand on my feet when I got home from the hospital. I had to just be in bed or on a wheelchair, and Mother had to make baby food for me because of my condition. And a visiting nurse came 77 times to our home to take care of my incision. And finally Mother could do it, and then I did it by myself. But I was 130 pounds when I got sick and was down to 80-some pounds. So then after all my hospital experiences, I started improving, and God was answering prayer. When they took me to the hospital from the home, there were some dear praying ladies went into what they called Cozy Corner, and they started praying for me. They said they didn't expect to see me again alive the way I looked. But God answered prayer, and God had a call, and He was going to work it out in my life. So that's something about my experience as through my medical problem when I was 17 years of age. And then, of course, for a number of years, I couldn't do anything but recuperate.
Could you tell us about your call to the mission field?
I have to backtrack here a little because the question is, could you tell about your call to the mission field? Well, I was only about 9 years old, and I've told you already I was 13 when I was saved. But I was only about 9 years old, and of course I had to help to take care of things at the house, like peel potatoes while Mother worked outside, and look after my grandpa who lived with us. And he used to want me to sing, and he wanted me to sing Onward Christian Soldiers. But I didn't like that so well. But I did sing, and then also was singing From Greenland's Icy Mountains, which is a missionary hymn I don't hear much about anymore. But it said in there, the heathen in his blindness bows down to wood and stone. And at that point, God made it very clear to me in my consciousness, and I wasn't a Christian, that someday I would go and tell them the right way. Now that was a puzzle to me at one point, because I wasn't a Christian. Why would God call me when I'm not a Christian? And then I was reminded of Samuel. God called Samuel before he knew the Lord, and God spoke to him. And so I was never able to plan on any other occupation or vocation in life but to be a missionary. So